His name was Paul Blart, and he was a mall cop. He foiled some X Games guys before the movie dropped.
All right.
Come on, tell me that Paul Blart doesn't need his own like 70s style epic ballad at the end of this movie.
I do like that song styling. It reminds me of Foley's Red Apple Sale.
And there comes Paul Blart jumping over a convertible on a Segway with an explosion behind him. I mean, this is really, if you took John McClane from Die Hard and he was retarded
and rode a Segway everywhere.
And rode a Segway, but this would be it.
Well, not just fat. I mean, like hugely morbidly obese.
Yeah, but see, you actually hit the nail on the head. I mean, you mentioned John McClane. This movie parodies. Parody's a strong word.
No. Hot Fuzz is a parody.
Yeah, Hot Fuzz is a parody. This movie borrows liberally from Die Hard. It steals entire scenes out of it and says, you know what would be great? Remember that scene where John McClane is coyly crawling through that air duct? Wouldn't it be great if it was a fat guy and then the air duct fell and knocked out a terrorist?
But that's what this whole movie is. They took the script from Die Hard and they said, wouldn't it be great if a fat guy? And that's the way they wrote this movie, and that's just not funny.
And that's why it's genius. This film is brilliant.
I think that's a funny idea. I mean, part of the problem I had with this movie is like every so often I go like, you know what? Something good could be done with this. They just aren't doing it.
Yeah. No, it would have been funny if Paul Blart, whatever.
Blart.
Whatever.
Paul Blart, mall cop.
I'll hand it to him. There is no fart jokes in this movie.
That's what I was thinking. Well, you know, that is to his credit.
No, that was stomach rumbling.
Yeah,
okay.
Because there's a difference.
Okay, there's a potential fart joke.
No, it would have been cool if Paul Blart, whatever his name is, had known the mall so well that he used everything in there as a weapon.
I know.
They actually
at the point when they were having the showdown in the Rainforest Cafe, I thought, now see, you guys are on something. This should have been your movie.
This is where there's actually a scene where they set that up at the beginning and just kind of throw it out the window, because there's a scene where he and the guy are wandering around in the background and he goes, I know, when I first got here, I got lost behind Sears. And you're like, oh, so clearly there's this network of tunnels behind there. He knows this is how it's going to work out. And they're like, yeah, but we're really just doing this scene to fill time, because it's not going to play in the movie at any point whatsoever.
No, that's true. And see, that's my biggest problem with this movie. Everything that he does, his weapon is retardedness. Everything he does, he defeats people by falling on them, accidentally hitting them or slapping them and knocking them out. It might as well be goddamn Forrest Gump let loose with fierce retarded strength.
Well, let's be accurate now. It's not so much him being retarded; it's just him being a goofball. I mean,
he's socially retarded.
Sure, he's socially retarded, but he's not a moron. He's not like clinically he has fewer brain cells than anybody else. He's just a goofball, and he's socially retarded.
The only thing they give you to like about him at all is that no one has ever liked him. You know, there's that whole scene where they're like, even he's got a daughter, right, who loves him, and his mom loves him. But the only reason he even has a daughter is because this hugely obese woman married him for the green card and then left as soon as she got her residency. That's the only thing to like about him, is that no one likes him. So what do you got here? Why are we supposed to give a shit about fatty boom boom here?
Hey, you know what, man? See, that's one of the things I hate about the movie. It's like so much of the joke was like, hey, guess what? He's fat. Oh no, but also he's fat. Yeah, but we forgot to tell you, he's fat.
But
and
it's
like,
the
okay, he's fat. I get it.
He's like every boss, or not even boss, the assistant manager who only has that title because the manager just wanted him to shut the fuck up. You know, who just wants power, but who gives a shit?
I could just see Kevin James sitting at home this weekend watching Tropic Thunder going, oh, fuck, I went full retard. This movie is just, it's so unapologetically over the top in just going after the one joke time and again. And everything it's got is just, why do these people, why are they X Games guys? Why the fuck are they riding around on bikes?
Oh, you didn't know? Yeah. See, these were the leftover guys that the Punisher didn't kill from his last movie.
Well, see, let's explain that. In the movie, see, so what happens in the movie?
Wait, you're actually going to explain the plot?
Yeah, no,
it's not going to take long.
No, it's not. No, Paul Blart is a dumbass, of course, so he flunks his. Not came in late. Is he in the police
No,
academy?
he didn't flunk because he's a dumbass. He's hypoglycemic.
Okay,
so
see.
if he gets too active and doesn't have enough sugar, he just passes
He's
out.
actually a badass, apparently, because they show him doing flips and stuff and
Yeah.
beating everybody at the obstacle
Really?
course, and he's almost at the finish line and he passes out from hypoglycemia.
But I didn't even stick with anything. I mean, okay,
Yeah.
what?
No,
This-
they did a good job of bringing that back in.
Oh,
okay,
okay.
I won't say a good job. I mean, they stuck to it. They never veered
They-
from that.
let's face it, this movie was a job. For everyone involved, this was a job. Let's
Okay.
not say good. It was a job.
So in the movie, since he can't make the police squad, he becomes a mall cop, an officer. He's a security guard on fucking Segway, but he says, "Call me an officer, a mall cop." And of course, all these crooks break in. He has to defend the mall and save all the hostages. And it's a girl that he has a really big thing for, and his daughter.
would never happen.
It never happened. But here's the deal: all the criminals that break into this mall, maybe they could do their job a little bit better, and they would have pulled it off if they weren't so busy riding fucking skateboards and BMX bikes.
I know.
I'm sorry. Let me say BMX bikes.
Oh, well, also, they shouldn't have had superpowers. I mean, I noticed, you could be like an ex-gamer and you're used to rooftop jumping, but they were doing shit that required wire food.
I think master criminals now must pull up a pickup truck next to Hot Topic where all the migrant X Games workers are hanging out and like, all right, I need 5 guys for a job, and they all jump in the back of the
No, I'll tell you what this is, because I'm watching this and I realize what the problem was. So I'm looking at all these guys, and all these guys are tattooed, and all these guys actually know what they're doing. And then one of them delivers a line, and it's like one of the flattest, worst lines I've heard. I don't know how long.
heavy Southern California
And
accent.
I really got the feeling, wow, the director of this movie hangs out with X Games types and says, hey, I need a bunch of faceless goons for my next movie. You know, it'd be cool if you and your friends got together and then we could have bikes and skateboards, and then there'd be something else to look at but Kevin James' lame acting ass.
See, here's the thing, though. I will say this one thing. Kevin James is terribly earnest.
He is.
He's so earnest that I actually kind of like him.
He does have a certain charisma. I mean, it's why, he was able to keep King of Queens going for so long.
Yeah.
And when watching him in Hitch, I'm like, you know what? This guy has something. He makes me like him.
You know what?
And I wanted to like him in this. I mean, I did in spite of the fact that this movie sucked.
You're right. See, Kevin James is likable. This character was written so bad. See, I hate it when they ask us to have sympathy for a dumbass like this guy. Everything this motherfucker gets, he deserves. He is that stupid. Like, he's crying, he's lonely, he can't get women to like him, and it's like, yeah, because no one would like your stupid big ass tearing up shit, falling all over the place, falling all over people, doing retarded shit, and they have a girl they have that. And seeing these movies, this is what makes me mad. Only in movie fucking world, they got not just a girl, a fine fucking ass girl.
Well, she's kind of
Okay.
like a poor man's Anna Faris.
Yeah, but
Now-
she,
now,
yeah,
hold
that's the
on.
thing. No, you hold on, because I'm gonna tell you,
No.
a fine,
Let
a
him
fine
finish.
fucking girl.
He needs to get this out.
No, and she sees this guy doing stupid shit, and all of a sudden she thinks, but he's very honest, and I could like him.
I just need to explain to the audience that for a brief period, Corey had a job as a security guard.
I was going to say, I mean, Corey, for the love of God, have you never dated a girl who actually worked at a mall kiosk? These, as hot as they may be, these are not the world's brightest and best. This girl is not going to cure cancer. She sells things at a store called Unbelievable. I don't care how good looking this girl is. She's going to end up marrying a mall security guard because he dwarfs her intellectually.
No,
Her mentality is to look at this big fat guy and go, "Oh, he eats well. He must have a good salary.
No,
he
see-
will be a protector."
You are right. That kind of girl is not the smartest girl in the world.
No.
But she blows people like that, not literally.
Well, yeah, literally.
They would like that.
I think she does. Actually.
Tell us
I
about
think you're on to
your
something.
security guard days. You haven't got to those stories yet.
If you've ever worked at a mall or know someone who did, you know these girls, and I think you're on to something.
Well,
there.
see, she blows guys like that off. Because she's like saying, yeah, I want the big fat dumbass, but I want the one that's gonna punch him in the face every now and then. I don't want the nice, honest dumbass.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a point there.
Yeah,
She
I
would've gone
understand what
with
you're talking
She
about.
would have gone with the douchebag guy who was hitting on her as well. For the
Oh, yeah.
pen
Oh, you mean
salesman.
the fashionable male
Yeah.
ripoff? You know, I liked it better when Ben Affleck did it.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was more of a ripoff for the guy from Die Hard.
I was going to say, well, he
Yeah,
is.
he was
the whole
that,
movie
too.
is a ripoff of Die Hard,
Yeah.
as we were saying.
Now,
It's
and-
not
yeah.
a tribute. It's not a parody. They just took the script and they said put a fat guy in the place.
It's a brilliant homage.
But to update it, we got X Games criminals
guys.
led by a poor man's Tim
Now
Roth.
be careful. Die Hard 5 is probably not that far away,
And that's who
those
that
guys
is.
Are probably watching this, going, "Ooh, X Games criminals."
You're right. That the guy, the villain in this movie. What? Let me see what his name is, because he does. I was trying to think, who does he look like? And he looks like Tim Roth.
He
Yeah,
looks like a
exactly.
guy
Poor
who
man's
slept.
Tim Roth.
He looks like a guy who slept on my couch at least twice.
Keir O'Donnell is I think his name.
Keir
is.
O'Donnell.
Keir, yeah, he's kind of fucked up name, but no, you're right about that whole X Games thing, man, because they got to see where Kevin James is trying to get away from a guy with a gun. Instead of now, I've walked down Congress Avenue where they have the Segway people going down there.
Sure.
I have not only just ran by them, but I have walked past them. And this dude decides to get on his skateboard and go after Kevin James. I'm like, if you put that shit down and just run after him, you could catch him.
That's the beauty of it. It's like either guy could run and beat the other one, but you got a skateboard racing a Segway.
Segways
And they both
can
jump
actually
rooftops.
Segways can actually go really fast.
Did you guys-
They're real cool. I hear, but I haven't gotten to ride one.
Did
Right.
you
Here's
guys?
my fucking Segway?
I think you guys missed the entire point of this movie. This entire movie actually was an advertisement for Segway. I mean, while you were watching it, tell me you didn't go, man, I really kind of want a Segway.
And Rock Band.
Oh yeah.
There's
Did you
an
notice,
extended
though?
Rock Band commercial in the middle of this movie?
There
Yeah.
must have been some copyright thing going on, because when he was playing Rock Band, there were no keys he was pressing.
Yeah, they couldn't show you what it was, which game it was. But they don't have. I've been to mall.
No, they
arcades.
had
They
the
don't have
signs
Rock
all over the
Band
place
set
that
up.
said Rock Band.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, they did.
But you don't go to an arcade to play Rock Band. I'm sorry, that's a home console game.
Yeah.
It was a commercial for the game.
But of course, we are talking about a guy who's retarded, so he probably
Yeah.
would pay money at an arcade.
We
to
are
play that.
talking
right.
about a movie called Paul Blart Mall Cop.
You're right. I do want to ride a Segway now.
You do.
I can't stop thinking about it.
Now, you were right about this whole thing about this girl at the kiosk. I just want to clear up one thing. The movie.
I'm thinking about the Segway. He's going back to the redhead.
The movie would have
That's
made
weird.
more sense. I mean, this girl would have fell for him. Now, when he drives up and he's on that little Segway and drives up to the kiosk and says, "Hi, I really feel for you," that's not real. If he had drove up on that kiosk and punched in the face,
Yeah.
then she would have been like, "Oh,
True love.
he's a really good guy."
Well,
Yeah,
you
now-
bring
now
up an
you're
interesting
just-
point. Good.
Now you're just sounding bitter. It sounds like you fell in love with a girl who worked at a mall kiosk and got one up by a guy who beat the shit out of her every night.
But it makes me laugh because I think about it before, because the movie's set up for you to go like, oh, she's way out of his league. She's just gonna laugh at him. But if she did, he gonna like, bitch, you sell wigs.
Back in those days when Corey was all fat and worked at the Great American Cookie Company, but there was that hottie who worked at the Orange Julius across the way.
No,
And
he
I
was in the-
Oh, Dreamweaver.
What's that one? The hot dog hut, or the thing where they make you
Wiener
wear
Schnitzel.
Wiener Schnitzel.
the thing where they make you wear the
Orange
red,
Julius.
yellow, and blue hats.
Well, let me just say, I was a security guard at one time, and I remember I was Paul Blart.
Oh no! Your rental finally comes out to play.
I was everything except on a Segway. I remember walking around that uniform thinking, "Yes, I'm a man of the law," and people behind me.
What even worse is that Corey used to wear a fake mustache and glasses so nobody would recognize him as a security guard.
Okay, he's exaggerating, but you are not lying.
Was it a Groucho Center?
Man, let me tell you something. Well, this is back when we were doing the real deal.
He didn't want anybody to go like, he didn't want to be like Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler and get recognized working at the deli counter.
I worked.
because getting recognized off of cable access.
I walked around in that fucking uniform, and one night I worked at Motorola, which is like a castle, and somebody walked up and said, "Hey, don't I recognize you?" I immediately turned around and said, "Nope." And then the next night, I showed up like Clark Kent. I wore really thick glasses.
Looking like not Norbit, like Eddie Murphy in Bowfinger.
And both, yeah. So I was walking around in glasses, like trying to be the black Clark Kent, so nobody would know who I was.
And then he stuck his hand in the meat slicer.
Wow, we got from. It's funny what comes out with these reviews. What new secrets will we learn about Corey next week when we review?
So yes, I'm very fucking bitter because I never met that hot girl when I was defending fucking you know what I was defending? I was defending a phone tower, a cell phone tower.
I think defending is a strong
Yeah, I was
word.
gonna say.
I think standing there is more apt.
Because I tell you, if anybody showed up to take that cell tower out, my ass would have been gone.
Did they let you have a gun?
Actually, and it was actually a pretty cool gig. I stayed there all night by myself and played Nintendo. So
Wait,
security was all out the window.
You didn't
But you didn't
answer
have
the
a
question.
taser
Did they
gun.
let you have a gun?
A slingshot.
I brought my own mace.
They didn't even recompense you for the mace.
Okay, it was a can of Lysol. But,
Okay, fair enough.
but anyway, back to this movie. I'm sorry that we segued into that, but
Oh,
You were
suck
holding on
my
to that
limp
one.
dick
How'd
hard.
you beat Cyrus
Oh.
I would never talk shit about you
That
again.
is it. I'm getting paid double for this review if you're going to steal my material.
But I tell you, after all that trashy stuff we said about the movie, and I cannot agree. Please, I feel bad because please don't make me defend this film, but I have seen worse. I got a couple chuckles out this movie, and considering the audience that it's a Nickelodeon movie, I can't go as far as to give it some bullshit. There are times when you said Kevin James, there were those 2 moments at the beginning of the movie before he got really stupid.
Yeah.
That I gave him a chance and I liked him and I got a couple of laughs, but and then again, I mean, we're snobby critics, man. This is totally something that's out of my way. I would not like this. I'm gonna give it a very, very, very low rental.
Yeah, absolutely. A very, very low rental. And I tell you, the main reason here is just because I do like Kevin James, and I think he could do better than this. I think if someone gave him a good script to work with and a good character, I think he could knock it out of the park. I think he's got it in him. I want someone to give him that opportunity, but make no mistake, Paul Blart Mall Cop is not that film.
And the thing was, he was one of the writers on this.
He was?
Yeah, because I kept thinking, like, man, if somebody would just give him the right material, they should let him write one. And it's like, his name was first as far as writing credit goes. So it's like, okay, maybe if somebody else could give him some good material.
Yeah, not every guy who's funny or charismatic should be writing their own stuff.
You know what? With this movie, I thought I was gonna have to fight you guys, but I felt exactly like you did, where like I would almost give it some old bullshit, but yet there were just those small little elements that I liked about it, and I've seen so much worse. So I'm gonna say low rental. Like really wait for it to come on
Cable.
TBS. Yeah.
Pick it up in the bargain bin at Walmart.
Come on, Grinch. Come on, Scrooge.
We're making you do it.
I fucking hate you
aren't we?
guys.
Blackheart.
You were going to say some old bullshit. Now you're
No.
Oh, you're not gonna back off that.
No, you guys haven't said one positive thing about this film except, well, I got a few chuckles. But I sat next to you motherfuckers. I didn't hear you laughing at all. I saw you guys rolling your eyes the whole time. This is a some old bullshit movie if I've ever fucking seen one. There's not a person out there listening to this who I think should ever put this into their television set. There will be demons that will come out and say, are you fucking kidding me? You're forcing me to watch this shit. Is it the worst thing I've ever seen? No. I've seen Disaster Movie. I've seen Meet the Spartans. I've seen Bratz. Those are terrible fucking movies. This is not that bad, but it's playing in the same fucking league. It is some old bullshit.
That being said, I just saw one of the Spill members. I can't remember who it was, but one of the known ones had The Spirit as their number 2 movie of the year. So,
we got to find this guy.
I know very, very intelligent people who dug that film and dug what it was going for, and they are such in the minority, and it's one of those things where it's like, all right, dude, you go off and do that. But no, The Spirit is not Paul Blart Mall Cop. The Spirit was attempting to be something and failed miserably. This hit exactly where it was aiming,
if they
but
had
it was
filmed
aiming
this
for the
with
fucking
that black and white look with The Spirit, it would have been much better.
Yeah, there you go.
They had him with that bright red tie jumping around through the mall.
If it had been Frank Miller's Paul Blart Mall Cop.
There you go.
See, I kept thinking like this would have been better as a movie more like the Foot Fist Way, where you really like the guy wasn't quite so likable, and you got to see what an idiot he was with the people around him, and shot for a whole lot less.
I'm just saying, this movie's not offensive. I've seen some really bad things that are offensive. I sat next to a little girl who laughed and loved this, and I know movie lawyers gonna be like, "You goddamn VeggieTales lover," but I'm sorry, I do realize when things are not meant for us and when they are meant for other people.
But we're not reviewing them for other people. We're reviewing them based upon us.
I do.
Would you actually pay money to rent Paul Blart?
No,
Mall
I
Cop?
would not pay money to rent this. But if
Would
I had
you
if I
pay
listen,
money?
if I had a daughter that said, "I really want to see this and I would like it," I'd be like, "Okay, babe, we'll go see it."
If I had a daughter and she wanted to see Bratz, I'd let her see it. But that doesn't mean I'd want to fucking pay money to see it.
And then she'd be like, "Daddy, why are you losing your mind over this movie?"
It's crap, honey. That's why.
The thing is, you're both right. I agree with you that we should be reviewing them for us. Carlisle, for us and not for the audience, but I agree with you that this wasn't offensive at all. At the end of it, I'm like, you know what? There wasn't a moment that I wanted to run out of the theater screaming like I did with bedtime stories, for instance.
Yeah, bedtime stories to me was just, there was points of it where I was offended by how bad it was. Bride Wars, that movie was offensive, and just the message it was sending.
Yes, it was.
This, it's it's offensive in like, hey man, you have to pick on the fat guy that much.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this: will any of you ever watch this again?
Let me tell you something.
I imagine when I'm in an old folks home and the nurses hate me and they'll turn it on and leave me in there, and I'd be like, you goddamn bitch. Well, this guy is kind of likable.
They'll be doing that to Carlisle because he'll be like, that grumpy old son of a bitch always bitching about some Paul Blart Mall Cop movie. Well, guess what? I found a copy.
The only one left in existence.
I'm gonna fix that son of a bitch.
Yeah. Oh, is this the repeat button? Bloop. No.
And he hates Jell-O too. I just appreciate, by the way, the fine works of an auteur such as this director, Steve Carr, who went on to make such great films as Are We Done Yet?
That's right.
Rebound.
All right.
Daddy Daycare.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. The list, Dr. Doolittle, not one, but Dr. Doolittle, the far superior
Dose.
Dr. Doolittle 2.
Dr. Doolittle Dose.
So how can you stick your nose up at such fine works as this?
It's not so much that I stick my nose up as that I ask him to get on his knees and suck my fucking dick. The guy has inflicted more pain on me than anyone in this
You
room.
gotta hand it to him. He knows what his niche is. You know, he's not reaching. He's not going, you know what, I'd love to do an English drawing room comedy. No. He's like, do we have anything with Rob Schneider available?
I have a script here where a man runs into inanimate objects about 50 times through the movie and destroys them. Who should we get for this?
I honestly think that when the movie opened and it showed the Happy Madison logo, I set my expectations way lower than they were when I came in.
Yeah.
But that's just because you walked out of a Happy Madison movie recently that you really hated.
Well, no, it's not the reason, and I didn't walk out. I should have, but I didn't.
No,
but,
I mean,
but,
when you walked out of the movie, you walked out angry. That's
Oh,
all
yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah.
Not you walked out of the film. You just
oh
walked
yeah,
out mad.
yeah. It just goes like, wow, okay, I know what I'm in for.
Wow, I think we've all just had a great session right here. Is everybody feeling better? we got a lot of stuff out our system.
Fucking Paul Blart Mall Cop, motherfucker.
I like how we
Blart Mall Cop.
I love how
Carlos gonna go try to beat up the next mall cop.
I know he sees it.
I feel so whole and healed by this now. I'm changing my rating to matinee.
Here goes his head. Kaboo!